Hey folks, since I needed a new set of clipless pedals, I went for the Shimano XT. These are the current generation Shimano XTs. You can see it here, PD M8000. These are what's called the race pedals. They also have the 8020, which are considered to be the trail pedals. These are the SPD, or the Shimano SPD pedals. They have an indexing here for the tension. You can clip on both sides. It comes with the SH51 cleat, or single release cleat. You need the 8mm to actually install it on the crank. They should be 340-ish grams, and they are supposed to clear mud quite well. Shimano recommends these pedals for cross-country and cyclocross, but you're going to see a lot of roadies using this type of pedals as well. There's not much else on the box aside from the code here and the few addresses for the different Shimano corporations around the world. Inside the box, that's a user manual, and actually this is a user manual that I would recommend looking at as opposed to many others that are useless. And here is my pedals. If you remove this little cardboard support, underneath there you're going to also see the cleats, and these are the single release or SH51 cleats. Let me take a look here, show you a few things. Aside from the name of the various parts, usually the parts of the cleat, as you can see here, they also talk about the one thing that is important is how to release the cleats from the pedals depending on the type of cleat that you have. And you can see here the SH51, the single release cleat, the one that the pedals come with. Also you have the optional SH56. SH56, you see it here, you buy it separately, and again it's what's called the multi-release. You can see on the single release you can only release by twisting your foot outward. On the multi-release you can see that you can actually release in many ways, and for many reasons this is just safer for new riders or people that are not that used to the cleats. So if you're just starting with cleats, I would strongly suggest to buy a pair of these just to start with. And down here I will just give you a few more reasons why you would consider one versus the other. Again, interesting read, especially if you're new to this. On the right hand side is just adjusting the spring tension, and this is talking about how the cleat will release, or when the cleat will release. And also down here somewhere, if I can find it, they're going to talk a tiny bit, I think, here. They're talk about the fact that the cleats are wearable parts, and when you see them releasing for no reason or a lot easier than before, it might just be the time to check them out and replace them. The one pedal that has the warning here, the warning is only about the fact that they are meant to be used with the SH51 or 56 cleats, nothing else, and just to read the manuals and whatnot. These pedals haven't changed that much in the last, I don't know, maybe 20 years. A good proof of that is what I have here is a 520. I've been using this for the last few years. You can see them quite beaten up, and these ones are still available from Shimano. They're quite cheap actually. You can have them for probably about 30 bucks. The new design is very similar to the one they had in the previous generation. What they have improved is the surface here touching your shoes. They have improved this or increased this by, I think it's 2.8 millimeters. I believe they made them thinner by 0.5 millimeters. I don't even know if that matters at all. Anyway, but just by looking at the M520, for example, you can see how the XTs are actually a bit thinner overall, so they're not as thick here. That will give you more pedal clearance, so hopefully less pedal strikes when you're riding these. They clear mud quite alright, given all these openings here, as opposed to the trail ones, which just the trail pedals just have a like a cage, an aluminum cage right around here that's supposed to give you a bit more support for your foot. To be honest with you, I did ride those and I didn't feel the need to get them, so for a bit of weight saving, these were just fine. When they're talking about indexing, they're talking about the fact that the spring here keeping your cleat engaged, the tension on that can be adjusted, and you need a 3mm Allen key that I have right here, and by default these come with, I think they are cranked up to about 8 clicks. Usually is lefty loosey, righty tighty. You can see it here, plus and minus. Plus give it more tension, minus take away tension. What I would suggest is undo it all the way, so lefty loosey go towards the minus all the way, and then start with something like 1-2 clicks. If you're not used to these ones, don't give it a whole lot. 1-2 clicks, multi-release cleats, and you will be good to go. You will definitely start to feel when the multi-release cleats release too easily, and that's the time when you would go in and then adjust your cleats again, adjust your pedals again. I would strongly suggest to adjust them 1-2 clicks at a time, and just take your time to get used to the clipless, the way they operate, and actually the way you should be unclipping in case of an emergency. Not much written on the pedals otherwise, aside from the code. You can see them here, M8000, made in Malaysia, and that's pretty much all it is to it. If you want to service these are fairly good, well sealed here. You have sealed bearings, actually a combination of a bushing and bearings. You just undo this nut and you gain access to it. Actually the whole axle comes out. I have to admit that on the 520s I have never touched them, and they're still nice and smooth, zero maintenance really. On the scale, the M8000s are 339 grams. These are spec'd to be 343, so that's very close. The 520s are 373, so you're talking about 35 grams difference between the two. One other thing worth mentioning here is when installing these pedals, left and right on the 520 is marked right on them, as you can see on the axle. If you look on to the M8000s, you don't have any left or right mentioned anywhere here. However, look down to where the markings are, or the manufacturing is mentioned here, and you have Malaysia R, and you also have Malaysia L, so left and right. That's where it is signified. If that wears off, because this is not, this is just paint, so it might wear off in time. There's another way to find out which one's which. If you look carefully here, you can see that this one has a little groove, like a cut. This one doesn't, right here up top. This one is the reverse thread, so it's the left pedal. And if you look here, you're gonna see that the thread is the same on this one that clearly states left, and then this one that doesn't show you anything, but again it has that line going through here. So yeah, that's pretty much all it is to it, guys. Have any questions, let me know in the section below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I will see you on the trails. Cheers.